If you see something, say something. Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'll be talking all about safety and safety culture and how you can be a whistleblower. And yeah, there's been stuff in the media, social media that like all about, okay, this whistleblower, something happened to that one. And there's always some whistleblower where something doesn't really turn out so great for them. But I wonder if they maybe didn't follow the three tips which I'm going to give you. And yeah, my three tips are going to be that, well, I'll just tell you right away and then I'll kind of get into it. So, and then all my viewership will drop off. So, number one tip is if you can report anything weird and unsafe anonymously. Number two, if you work at a place with a union, go to the union boss before you go to the manager. And number three, if you're working in the States, contact a friend of the FAA. If you're in some other country, contact someone that you can trust in the governing body there. Okay, done. Bye. So now, if you're sticking around to hear the details of why and how that's important to you, great. And hey, Wrench, welcome to the show. Okay, so this whole thing about that I've been hearing about safety, it kind of, as a pilot, it's a little bit disturbing, but then I also have to take a step back and go, wait a minute, okay, is someone just doing this for your Twitter, Instagram clicks? Is someone doing this just to get more views or on some social media thing? Or is the media like? I guess there's nothing important in the world going on, and they got to make up things about aviation because it's really scary, even though it's actually statistically very safe still. And yeah, media and aviation is like, okay, that's my step back and go, it's not necessarily the most accurate, but there's probably something there where I could see. Um, okay, well, I'll just get into talking a little bit about like safety management systems. Okay, so that's something that uh, every place that's manufacturing an airplane or you're operating airplanes or helicopters, anything aviation related, pretty much everywhere they have to have some sort of system in place that ensures that that things are done in a safe way. So, and here we go. I'm gonna, and I this was all developed. It's standardized throughout the whole world, actually, by an organization called ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. It is spelled like this, ICAO. Okay, so the this is like, it's worldwide. It involves every country in the world, except for, I was doing my research on this. The only members that are not members, or the only countries that are not members of ICAO, are the Vatican and Liechtenstein. Like, so I remember years ago, North Korea wasn't in it. Cuba, I think, was not in it. China was not in it, but they're in on it now. So, anyways, they're hopefully things will get getting safer in those countries. But oh, hey, Rolly, welcome to the show. So that ICAO, they kind of came up. It was kind of a work in progress for years, and they came up with a standardized minimum kind of safety system that people should be using in aviation in the world. And there's 12 elements to this. And I'm going to look on my other little part of the screen here, and I'll tell you what they are. So the number one element of your safety culture, your safety management system, is number one is management commitment. And if you've ever worked anywhere where there's management, if management wants something done, it'll generally get done. If management does not want something done, it will not get done. So management commitment is number one for any type of safety system. And like, oh, hey, Harold, welcome to the show. So the number two element for this worldwide safety system standards is safety accountability and responsibilities. So That's where whether it's a company that's manufacturing parts for an airplane or operating, an airline or something like that, they'll be like, okay, who is responsible for what, who is accountable if there's a mistake made or something. Number three, there is appointment of key safety personnel. So that means that everywhere out there, there is somebody that's the safety guy or the safety girl or the safety dog. I don't know, but there's some sort of safety personnel that's like, and it might be a team if it's a big organization, or it could just be one person. Number four for the elements of a safety management system is coordination of emergency response planning. So you got to have, what happens if there's the plant catches on fire? Do we have a safety system for that? Because we want to protect our employees as well as protecting the airplanes that we're building or something like that. So emergency response planning, documentation is number five. So safety management system documentation. Everywhere that I've worked around airplanes, there is some documentation. I mean, well, when it comes to aviation, there's just paperwork everywhere. So it's like you're going to have to document everything that has to do with safety. And that okay, and there's that. Number six is hazard identification for your elements of safety management system. So hazard identification. So I remember when I was at Sioux College learning how to fly, and they were actually teaching us as students about like, okay, one day you might be the safety representative at an airline, or you might be, at some organization where you're the person responsible for maintenance, or there could be other things. So we actually went through. It was a pretty good exercise where, as part of our class, we went through the hangar, and we were in kind of groups of three, and we'd all walk around and with a little checklist and see if we could identify any hazards in the hangar. So one thing was, I don't know, just maybe like painted lines that were worn out around something where, if you see a yellow painted line, you shouldn't walk over there. Maybe that was gone. And so that was an actual hands-on safety exercise that I did in school for hazard identification, and that was actually used as part of the school's safety management system. So that's pretty cool. And then number seven here for the elements is safety risk assessment and mitigation. So if you get really into it, now that's one of the things about safety management systems is that you can either get really into it, every little fine detail, or you can just say, in general, this is what we're looking at over here, because maybe it's not that important. But it still has to be accounted for, but maybe it's not the main thing that you do. So I don't know. There might be like procedures for mopping a floor so you don't slip on the floor, but it's in a barn and you got a gravel floor, so mopping really isn't too important because you don't really mop, but it's there if you ever do have to mop a chunk of cement that's there. So you wouldn't focus on that. That's maybe not the best example, but whatever. So safety risk assessment and mitigation, that would be, so you would assess, okay, how important is that? How often does this mistake happen? The mitigation would be, what systems can we put in place so this doesn't happen again? Okay, number eight, safety performance monitoring and measurement. So yeah, this is what happens that I've seen is that usually it depends on the organization. It's usually annually or every 6 months or something. The safety guy or the safety committee will take a look at anything that's been assessed, or you might have to do a risk assessment every 3 months. Whatever you say your system is, that's what you got to do, and you got to document it too. So it's very similar to like ISO 9000 manufacturing systems, kind of like that. So safety performance monitoring and measurement. And so you can detect if there's any trends happening here that we have had. We filled out a safety report that someone fell off that ladder like 2 times last year, 3 times this year, and then and 3 times already this year, and it's only February. So something might be wrong with that ladder, and then you can fix it up. So that you would monitor any trends that are happening over the years or whatever time period. Then management of change. Okay, that's number 9, according to our SMS safety management system. And so that would be what we got here: management of change. So that's just like okay, we have to change something here. Who's going to do it? How do we do it? Is management going to give us a budget for that? Who knows? And then number 10, continuous improvement of the safety management system. So yeah, the rules that are set up for your safety management system. It's a living document. It can change. It can adapt to. There could be technology changes that have to be incorporated. So let's just say you're working on some airline and you're managing your airplanes and stuff. There's safety, the guys that are doing the maintenance on the plane. Okay, there's safety protocols for this type of plane, but we got this new plane and it's got an inertial navigation system. Oh, well, that's got like spinny things and weird, and it might be awkward to get in and out of the plane to inspect it. So is there any special rigging we need for a crane or something? So let's incorporate this new technology that's new to our organization. And then so you would have to change. That would be part of the continuous improvement of the safety management system. Number 11 is training and education. So yeah, there's always there's aviation is filled with training all the time. Like, you should always kind of be training just to stay on top of things, because the industry changes so much. Yeah, so training and education. So that would be, hey guys, let's have a safety meeting, and this is, if you want to report something that's weird, report this, and do it this way. And so there we go. And number 12, safety communication. So that is okay, safety communication. I don't know, you see all these like safety banners up and everything. Safety is our number one priority. That could be considered safety communication, or whatever. You have a monthly newsletter talking about communicating about safety, stuff like that. So you would have to have some sort of system for communicating safety. Safety changes. Just, hey, heads up, Bill broke his ankle on that ladder. Watch out, be careful. And okay, so that's the whole. That was a big long blah 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 about safety management systems. So ideally, within that system, which exists all around the world on anything aviation related, there should be a mechanism in that system that a whistleblower could say, like, aha, I've identified something that is not safe. I have been educated, just like the system is supposed to have a part in there for education. So I've been educated on how to report this safety fault. So maybe the problem with the system, if you have to, like, if you have to go stand outside at lunchtime with a picket sign saying this place is unsafe, because no one will listen to you, chances are they're not paying attention to that safety management system. And there will be repercussions for that. I don't know exactly what they are, but yeah, if you're in violation, the regulating body, Federal Aviation, FAA, Transport Canada, I forget what they call it over in Australia. Anyways, the government, somebody from the government's going, hey, you guys aren't safe. You're getting fined. We're shutting you down. We're pulling your license. You can't do that. There's things that can be done depending on the severity of things. So here we go. If you are at a great big place, here's my whistleblower tips. Like I said, number 1, Ideally, if you're going to be a whistleblower, just be anonymous about it. It is the real world that we live in, and if you start causing a whole bunch of trouble in the workplace, you don't make friends. You don't make friends in management very quickly if you're like, I don't always complaining or something like that. Although some guys do that for 50 years and they retire, but um, excuse me, yeah, I don't know. I got fired from a place once because I refused work because it was unsafe. So I don't know. I probably pissed off the management that way, but I still got all my fingers. So, anyways, yeah. So, but I do have an example of how, if you are reporting anonymously, how it can work in a safety system. So, say something is, I was at like I said, as part of our safety when I was the exercise at college that we were going around the hangar, it just so, but because we were educated on this was the safety system, it was like a few months later or a certain amount of time later. And so it was at nighttime. We were all working on our night ratings and doing night flying and stuff like that. So some people, they drove out to the airport and then, so there's like some people that were going to get in a car and go back to town from the airport. And then they came running in the back door and they're like, there's a bear out by the car. And we're like, oh, we're looking out the window, seeing if we could see the bear. But yeah, that was wow. Like, okay, cool. There's a safety issue, a bear in the parking lot. So but it was really dark. So it would have been cool if they had some big floodlights out there that you could see the whole parking lot where people actually park their cars. And then instead of like walking up to your car and wow, there's a bear, you can look out the window and say, oh, there's a bear. I'll wait till they go away. So yeah, so I did an anonymous, just an anonymous safety suggestion to because they usually have an anonymous like safety suggestion box somewhere. I worked at a machine shop, had one of those, and they made aircraft parts. So yeah, and it turns out went back a year later and they installed lights out there. So it's like it actually was looked at, it was documented, and the follow-up action was yes, this is a safety issue with bears in the parking lot. And there we go. So the lights went in. I'm like, hey, I anonymously got those lights put in. Pretty cool. And so the anonymous reporting system, just because you stick it in, if you're in aviation, ideally, in a perfect world, the way you're supposed to be doing it, all your anonymous tips and tricks or suggestions, they do get looked at, they do get recorded. And I did see the annual report where it was recorded, and my actual note was there documented the way it's supposed to be done. So they had a very good safety management system there. And yeah, so that was number one. Okay, so let's just say you see something weird going on at where you're manufacturing your airplane. You do the anonymous tip, nothing's really happening. Okay, now that's my number two thing was, if you are in a unionized shop, talk to the union. The union is there as a as a way for management to talk to the workers through the union. It's just the way your collective agreement's made up and all this other stuff. There's protocols there, probably because guys are getting fired because maybe, I don't know, they pissed off the boss and you just fired them, and it's like, okay, let's start a union. I've never actually worked at a place that had a union. I worked at a place once for like, you had to get like 90 days to get into the union, and they canned me after 88. So, oh well. Yeah, I guess they didn't like the way I was doing stuff. Oh well, what the heck? Life got better after that, anyways. Yeah, so you talk to your union first, and then yeah, like if there's still really nothing going on there, like if you can't really talk to the boss, like it's tricky when you're especially in a non-union shop to bring up safety issues, because some management will take it seriously and some won't. And so if you don't have the management buy-in, then you're getting fired like me for refusing work because I was safe. Now there might have been I don't know. I think that was kind of the main thing. It's like, well, we got one we can't control over here. He's all into the safety stuff. And then they just like had me go clean a dirty machine over here as punishment. And then like they got some other guy to just do the dangerous job. I don't know if he has any fingers left, but I got mine. Okay. And actually, that wasn't the best shop to work in anyway. So it worked out okay. Okay. So now, and this is a tip if you are considering going up to reporting to the governing body of the government. That's another thing you got to kind of think about this stuff. So say you're going to the FAA in the United States, talk to somebody you trust there. Don't just call them up and say like, hey, like if you know somebody like an inspector that does a good job and takes it seriously, that's the person you talk to. Or even if it's somebody that works, I don't know, answering the phones, or someone that helped you out with your medical or something like that, where you would want to go, okay, this person in this organization, I really trust them. They're good, and so because the bigger the organization, there's going to be more different types of people in there. So that you're going to have some really good people, and you're going to have some really bad people, and you're going to have some people that are lazy, that don't do things. Like, it's the bigger the organization, like the FAA or Transport Canada, there's going to be some fantastic people there, and there's going to be some that are not so fantastic. So you want to talk to the fantastic people. So if you trust somebody at that government regulatory level, go to them and say, okay, what should I do about this? I'm kind of worried it's a safety issue. Kind of brought it up with the boss, and the boss doesn't want to do anything. This is a safety issue. Now, so the good people at the regulating bodies, they'll be all over that. They'll be like, "Whoa, you're right. Okay, thanks for coming. Just keep me anonymous. Don't email them. Nothing. Do it on the phone. Do it in person. You keep that kind of anonymous too." And then they'll look into it. And I've done that myself too. And I was kept anonymous by the person in the regulating body that I thought was very good. And one thing led to another. And let's just say there was a safer outcome because of my whistleblowing anonymously, that there most likely would have been an accident if I didn't do that. Pat myself on the back. There we go, for being a rat. I ratted somebody out, but probably saved his life, and even though he wasn't too happy about it, I'm sure. But well, or saved the life of someone on the ground. You never know. Okay, so that is pretty much it for about if you're going to be a whistleblower in the aviation industry, keep it as anonymous as you can so you can keep your job. Talk to the union before you start talking to the CEO so you can keep your job. And if you're not getting anything, you can talk to someone you trust at the FAA, Transport Canada, your governing body there, and just throw it out there. What would happen if somebody reported some manufacturing facility that something was going wrong? And there's ways of doing it. And don't do it in email. So another thing too, a couple bonuses here too. So we're going to go for the bonus round here. I won't use the whiteboard for it, but the other bonus here is don't go on social media. Don't say, I hate my job on Facebook. Here's a picture of what I'm doing at my job, which is probably against some sort of photography policy anyways. Don't go to social media, anything like that. Oh, I'll be a hero here. No, you're not going to be a hero. You'll probably get fired. And then now the union will have to fight for your job, and they don't want to do that. So unions can work as hard for you or as little for you as much as they like you to. So another thing there too is the other bonus is the number. I guess it's kind of like really the most important thing. In aviation, everything you do is tracked. There's paperwork, there's a paper trail, there's your signature, your employee number, there's a stamp usually that mechanics have that they stamp number, blah, blah, blah. That's registered to the government. They say stamp number this, they put it in the computer. Okay, that's Joe Blow. This was done on this date by this guy or this girl did this, and da 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 da. Hey, that was done in the accident. The accident investigation said that that was not done. The paperwork said it was done. Okay, let's go talk to this guy. And I don't know. Yeah, you don't want anyone investigating like if they're like, don't attach your name to something you know is unsafe. Just don't do it. If you do get fired because you refuse to do, like, you're getting forced by your boss, like, just sign it, and sign it. It'll be good. That's just what we do. Okay. If you say, no, I'm not doing that, you sign it, man. And then if you get canned from there, you get fired from there, not a big deal. The next time you go to apply for a job somewhere else, you'll say to the boss, they'll say, oh, why did you leave that place? That pays really good. And you'll say, well, because I refused to sign off on something unsafe and they fired me. And they'll be like, I would be like, whoa, you're hired. We want your type around here. And that's the place you would want to work for. Because if they're putting safety into the aviation and the products that they're making, they're also putting it into worker safety. Like, it's a whole culture of safety there. So that's ideally what you want, that everyone's thinking safety first. So that's that generally in the long run is more profitable too. So less workers' compensation claims, whereas you're not getting sued for faulty equipment, whatever, it's just safety is in the long run. You're for airplanes that have all the airline companies around here that were known for, oh, they're terrible for maintenance and stuff. Well, they crashed all their planes. The insurance premiums went up and they're out of business. So it's kind of like safety is more profitable in the long run. Management, I'm talking to you. So there we go. Yep. So that's about it. We'll go through. I already got make sure you're anonymous if you can. Talk to your union boss, and then talk to someone you can trust to point you in the right direction. Okay, here we go. Let us go to the top here, and we're gonna go. Rolly came in. Here we go. I will bring up this one here. I predict this will end with Boeing nationalized U.S. government company. That would probably not be the safest. Usually, I find the bigger the organization, the less attention to detail they have about things. Here we go. Here's another one. I've worked at a few ISO 9000 companies, completely useless binder of documents. No one reads. Companies not doing it now. Was not good at use of people and time. Yeah, I've seen that too. It's like, we got to, so we can supply to Ford and Toyota, we got to get this ISO 9000 stuff. Then they get it. They just ignore it. But the better companies do actually pay attention to it. Okay, what else we got here? Here we go. Interesting here. Most whistleblowers want fame, not anonymous. That's probably right. I wouldn't want to be, well, I don't know. Maybe that's a social media phenomenon thing there too. And I'll always take a comment from Dustin. Thank you very much. Oh, hey, Chad Elkins. All right. I also like being called so awesome. Hey, thanks for showing up, Chad. So we'll see how things work out, but we might be talking to Chad one of these days, depending on how things work out, and could be soon. So cool. Thanks for popping in, Chad. And all right. Harold agrees. Excellent. Oh, here we go. Hey, Brian popped in here. Let's see what we got here. What's he saying? Good afternoon, Graham. I certainly enjoyed your points of view. I remember when we were training. This is one of my former students, actually. These came up in conversation. We both shared our views on such matters. Yep, that's right. And good that Brian popped in here today. Good to see you, man. That's sweet. Okay, and that's right. Chad Elkins could be here soon. We'll see. Okay, that's about it for today. Today is Monday, so that means I'll be back on Wednesday. Why? Because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, and we'll just kind of shut her down. So thank you for watching. Bye.